Did the old prophets actually meet angels on top of mountains? Or were they highly intelligent beings from a galaxy far, far away? Welcome to Ufology, where we explore the truth about alien life. Because let's face it, we're not alone, and the evidence is everywhere. In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 historical individuals who may have been aliens. We've touched on this topic in previous videos. This includes exploring the lives of powerful leaders like Pharaoh Akhenaten and Emperor Jimmu, but they were probably not the only ones. If you're interested in learning more, let's dive right in. First, we have Edward Mordache, or Mordrake as his name is sometimes spelled. Edward Mordache was a minor English noble born in the 19th century. Accounts describe Mordache as a handsome and graceful man, but Mordache had one strange feature. He was born with a second face on the back of his head. The second face was female and had a pair of eyes and a mouth that drooled. The face could not see, eat, or speak. It sneered while Mordache was happy and smiled while Mordache was weeping. Mordache begged doctors to have his demon face removed. He claimed it would whisper hellish things to him at night, but no doctor would attempt the risky surgery. This led to Mordache secluding himself in a room before taking his own life at the age of 23. Was Mordrake a deformed man, or was he something more than human? Nobody knows for sure. Some people claim that Mordrake never existed to begin with. His story came from the medical book Anomalies and Curiosities of Medicine. It was a book published in 1896 by the doctors George M. Gould and Walter L. Pyle. While this may lend it some credibility, it's worth noting that the book took his story from a newspaper article. This article was published in the Boston Sunday Post in 1895. Its author was Charles Lowton Hildreth, a speculative fiction writer and poet. Surprisingly, nobody ever thought to consult him about the veracity of this story. Since that's the case, we can only speculate. Maybe it was a fictional story inspired by a true account. More than 100 years before Mordache's story, there was the strange case of Tarare. He was a French peasant boy born in France in 1772. From an early age, he was always hungry. The boy cried for food even after he'd finished a meal. By the time Tarare was 17, he was gluttonous, yet emaciated. He often snuck into village barns to eat the livestock's feed. Tarare was repulsive to the eyes and nose. He had a huge mouth, was always sweating, and emitted a putrid stench. His parents were too poor to continue feeding him, so they kicked him out. He found himself in Paris right before the French Revolution. There, Tarare turned his uncontrollable hunger into a freak show career. He would often eat strange things to amuse the crowds. He ate all kinds of unpalatable objects, including live animals and even large stones. But Tarare's luck soon ran out again. The French Revolution had begun. Tarare became a soldier. He was chronically ill from eating stray cats and non-food items. The field hospital staff tried their best to feed him quadruple rations, but to no avail. One day, General Alexandre de Beauharnais saw a unique opportunity. He approached Tarare about being a spy. Tarare was to use his stomach as a courier. He agreed and swallowed a wooden box containing notes for an imprisoned French colonel. Tarare crossed Prussian lines, but within 30 hours was captured, beaten, and had betrayed France. He was eventually returned to a French military hospital. There, he resorted to drinking stored blood and nibbling on dead bodies. There were even rumors he ate a baby. The hospital chased him out. Tarare died at the age of 27. His autopsy revealed rotten intestines and an entire body that was filled with pus. His digestive system was freakishly mutated. Tarare's stomach began at the back of his throat and continued all the way down, displacing his lungs and heart. The sickening smell from Tarare's body was too strong, even for the pathologist, so his autopsy was cut short. Could he have been a failed alien hybrid? That would explain the deformities and impossible appetite. Some experts also believe he suffered from hyperthyroidism. This disease of the thyroid can cause extreme hunger and body odor due to excess sweat. Lastly, we have the mysterious Rasputin. Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin was the spiritual advisor of Russia's last monarchs, the Romanovs. During his service, his actions cultivated a series of startling rumors. People knew him as many things: a sexual deviant, a mystic healer, a political saboteur, and a renegade monk, amongst others. Rasputin turned to religion early in his life as a peasant boy. Even back then, there were already rumors in his village that Rasputin had mystical powers. Despite marrying and fathering several children, Rasputin abandoned family life. He chose to become an Orthodox Christian monk. After years of wandering and religious teaching, Rasputin ended up in St. Petersburg, the seat of royal power. Through various connections, Rasputin became known to Tsar Nicholas and his wife Alexandra. Tsarina Alexandra sought him out to cure her hemophiliac son, Alexei. After Rasputin's session with the young boy, the bleeding stopped for some time. The royal family was amazed and granted Rasputin many favors for what seemed to be a miracle. Some historians speculate that all Rasputin did was disallow aspirin. Aspirin is a blood-thinning agent. They dispute Rasputin's claim to mystical powers. Regardless, Rasputin soon became a constant presence in the royal court. Rasputin wasted no time appointing his own church ministers and other public officials. Many believe that Rasputin was a puppet master controlling the royal couple. Rumors were spreading about him. He was an occultist, he was conducting orgies, he was in league with the devil. Alexandra's growing dependence on Rasputin to heal Alexei only exacerbated the issue. The life of Rasputin was strange, but stories of his death are even weirder. Before his final assassination, other attempts on his life have been made. In June of 1914, a beggar woman stabbed him in the stomach. She claimed he was seducing the innocent. Rasputin made a full recovery even though he had lost a lot of blood and nearly died. 2 years later, a group of nobles, led by the aristocrat Felix Yusupov, plotted to kill Rasputin. On December 30th, 1916, Yusupov invited Rasputin to dine at his home. Yusupov served Rasputin a large meal complete with wine and dessert. These were all heavily laced with poison. The men looked on in shock as Rasputin showed no symptoms of poisoning. They resorted to shooting him. According to legend, he was still breathing after a barrage of bullets. Rasputin supposedly only died after he drowned in an ice-cold river. Some people even say that he survived the drowning. There were rumors that he was still alive when passerbys dragged his body to the shore of the river. How could an ordinary man survive that much damage? In March of the following year, Tsar Nicholas II abdicated the Russian throne as a result of the February Revolution. The following year, the Bolsheviks eliminated the last vestiges of the Romanov dynasty. Rasputin was never heard about again. Whether he truly died or escaped to live out his life elsewhere, nobody knows. The details of his life and death are still highly disputed even today. Historians speculate that many of these details were embellished to make him seem more monstrous. He had many enemies in the imperial court after all. These are just 3 of many other individuals who may have been extraterrestrial beings. In fact, many unusual people live and die without their stories ever coming to light. But of course, as the years go on, we'll discover more and more of these stories. Make sure to comment below on what your thoughts are, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to tune in next week.